did what they were supposed to do against it. Nice boot from Kunkel.
Well, and I think we may be seeing that what people thought was weak competition was actually just James Madison being a much better team than people were giving him credit for.
That's right. Nice counter here by Rodriguez, putting Salisbury back on the offensive. So far, no matter how good the kick for either team, the response has been good.
See if Cool will go for points here. Definitely within his range.
There is a little bit of wind. He's going to go for points.
You know, Pat, both of these teams so far have been playing fast, but the difference is James Madison is playing fast all the time. They're typically at the breakdown for less than a second before they've removed that ball and moved on, whereas Salisbury at the tackle point seems content to try to reset and slow the ball down even when it's their own possession and they have to go forward.
Yes, it's an odd sight seeing Salisbury a little bit behind the pace. Kick is wide and short. We'll have a 22 here from James Madison. Kunkel's going to take it.
So really, so far, nothing is going right for Salisbury. That's a kick that you think Cool probably makes 90 out of 100 times.
So that's, if you look at it, that's 8 to 10 points left on the board between the possession inside the 5 meter where they were called for a penalty and the kick left on the board as well.
And 10 points is the difference.
Salisbury called for pushing before the ball's in, and James Madison's rewarded with a free kick. Scotty Wheeler with another big hit. Salisbury looking to turn this ball over.
Referee's going to go back to the knock-on. James Madison back lines a little bit too flat, couldn't handle the pass.
Look for Salisbury to keep the ball in hand this time. They've got some talented runners. Nick Capobianco at inside center, Ethan Reese at outside. Cool can run himself.
A lot of space on the weak side here. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Salisbury 8 take this.
John Capobianco is inserted there. This is Nick, the older Capo brother. Offloads to Wheeler. Big handoff.
Wheeler's really exerted his physicality on this game.
Maybe an ill-advised switch there. Yeah. Cool and Reese couldn't decide how they wanted to hand the ball off, and James Madison gets the tackle, goes after the ball, and is rewarded with a penalty.
Look at that, the prop in support.
It's big Tim Katz, the first try scorer of the day. It's impressive. It's everybody getting out and running for James Madison.
Fullback is isolated, but he's able to keep the ball alive.
Kunkel doing a good job of keeping his feet till support's there. That's Captain Jake St. Cross there with the previous carry. He's playing a bit injured.
Cool tried to go quick tap on the penalty there, and the referee's going to bring him back to the mark.
Probably a good thing. James Madison had the ball. Nobody was chasing for Salisbury, so
I think
looks like Cool was bailed out a little bit.
I think Salisbury really needs to start rethinking their strategy of kicking away possession, because James Madison, when they have the ball in hand, has just looked really, really impressive.
Stays in.
Can't have mistakes like that either.
Cool's had some uncharacteristic mistakes today. He missed touch there. He kicked the 22 straight out. Misses the penalty. A lot of forward commitment there from Salisbury to win that ball. Here's Cool again. He's going to scoop this one, though. And another. Just as we were talking about a few mistakes, he makes a pretty good play to put Salisbury
I think he's going to
against a territorial
yep,
advantage.
And Salisbury turns that into a penalty.
Great individual effort from Cool. A pair of grubbers, great defense. And now they're going to get a fantastic scoring opportunity here with a attacking line out. Can you text somebody? Somebody's watching maybe? Very important set piece here for Salisbury. They need to get a score to get some momentum, and it's stolen by Madison. Where Salisbury's looked a little bit stronger in the scrum, Madison has looked pretty clean in the lineout.
That ball was tipped on the kick by Salisbury, so Madison not only cleared their end, they regained possession.
So count that as 2 prime scoring opportunities gone uncapitalized on by Salisbury. You know, Salisbury, if you're not going to contest at the ruck, the whole point is to get out and play defense and put pressure on them with your defensive line. And I don't know that the Sharks are doing that just yet. Scott Wheeler with another big hit off the ball. He's certainly making his presence known. But as a team, if you're not going to contest the ruck, you need to get out and pressure the back line.
And again, here's an example of Salisbury just slowing the ball down offensively at the ruck. Where they need to be slowing the ball down at the ruck is defensively, because James Madison has been excellent recycling quickly.
Ball's lost forward on the ruck there. It would appear there's a loss forward to Salisbury that should have been kept as an advantage. Salisbury lineout. They lost the ball in the ruck, but tackled James Madison out of bounds. Wheeler, the big fella. Stripped of the ball, though.
And the referee is going to say that was knocked forward and the strip was knocked forward.
Tim Katz did a good job of getting the ball out of Wheeler's hands, but knocked it in the process.
Not often you see someone with the number 1 on their back this much involved in a game. We've been calling his name seemingly every time Madison has possession.
James Madison, a good job of contesting the ruck yet again.
Again, Salisbury content to have all of their forwards at this breakdown inside the Madison 22.
Referee holding advantage. So Salisbury's got a break. I'd contend that nobody from James Madison was back 10, but he doesn't have an arm up, and they're going to keep playing, try and punch it in here. Try.
Looked like the hooker from Salisbury.
David Burnett. He's had a couple nice carries and was able to punch that one in. It's a big, important score for Salisbury, obviously.
That's huge.
This should be a made conversion. So we should be looking at 10-7 here shortly.
So maybe Salisbury's settled down here after the opening onslaught from James Madison, and will be able to get into their style of play and start exerting what they want to do, their game plan.
They're going to have to get more competitive at the breakdown because so far it's been James Madison's had the better.
And I think you're right, Pat, that they seem to be, both offensively and defensively, they're sending so many players into that breakdown, and there's no need to defensively because by the time guys are getting to the breakdown, that Madison's already moved that ball away, and they're on to their next phase.
Cool tucks it in the inside corner. But it is 10-7. Madison leading.
16 minutes left on the clock here in the first half.
Already got a sub here for James Madison. Matt Petrick coming in for Jake St. Cross, the captain. The flanker we talked about, he was playing injured to begin with, and it looks like the injury got the better of him.
And you can tell St. Cross is not happy to have had to have come off the field in a game of this magnitude. Be interesting to see now if someone can step up to fill that leadership void with St. Cross off the field. Having your captain go out in the first half is obviously not ideal.
Well, Tim Katz is certainly leading by example, if nothing else.
Madison's been good in the lineout so far.
No contest. There's Wheeler again.
Huge hit on the fly half by Cool.
Scott Wheeler, charge down. But Madison regains it.
Again, the offload game is fantastic, although just as I say that, probably an ill-advised offload, but they're going to get...
That offload was knocked illegally by a guy offside from Salisbury, so James Madison up and running again.
And is that Katz again?
That's him. Katz, he dances better than most props.
As a svelte prop yourself, Pat, you must like seeing that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I always consider myself a fly half in a forward's body.
Advantage is being played to Madison. And I think they're going to dot another one down. Oh, no.
Yep, he was able to just sneak it down before he swiped out of his hand.
Wow, I thought it looked like he lost that forward, but the referee was right there at a much better vantage point than we did. So
Christian Morial with the try. James Madison's third.
And what's interesting there, if we needed any more evidence of James Madison's game plan to play fast, they were 5 meters out from Salisbury's try line. And typically, Pat, at that point in the field, you see teams slow down, go deliberate, attack a few times with their forwards, and they just immediately move that ball away from the ruck and on the opposite side of the field, dot it down for the try.
This game is certainly not over. It's only 15-7 here. It could go 17-7 if we're able to see a very nice conversion slotted. But looking to tomorrow, either team, if UW Whitewater or University of Minnesota Duluth advance out of the game we're going to be watching here in a few hours, James Madison is an interesting matchup for them because both those teams are a little bit bigger, lumbering, stronger in the forward pack than either of the teams we're looking at right now. It'll be interesting to see. It's going to be a little Thunder versus
Harriman puts it. What's the fullback's name? Harrison puts it off the upright.
Stays at 15-7. Just about 13 minutes to play left in the first half.
And you got to wonder if the inability to make these conversions on these tries is going to come to haunt the Dukes.
Haven't been easy conversion attempts, to be fair. They've been scoring in the corner quite a bit.
Referee gets Salisbury for playing the man in the air on the kickoff. No-brainer here for Madison to get territory and then go to their lineout, which has been solid all this first half.
I know Lambourne has been receiving phone calls from lots of people. He's also the guy that started Olympic Club Rugby back up. So he's pretty well known in the Northern California area, and I know he got some phone calls, texts, and emails from guys like Jack Clark and some of his old friends back that direction, and they would be proud of the way that they're playing right now because James Madison is...
Great one-handed receive on that.
James Madison is doing some pretty great work against the defending national champs here.
Salisbury's playing some pretty physical defense, and Lambourne just asked the assistant referee, to watch out for some late hits behind the gain line after the ball's away.
Some of Wheeler's hits have been borderline for sure. There's Capobianco fighting for more yardage. They're going to run it. They're tired of giving the ball up. They're going to try and run it, but a poor pass from Nick Capobianco. Salisbury bailed out by a penalty from James Madison.
That's surprising because that looked like that penalty was going to go the other way initially. And again, failing to find touch.
And a pretty crucial part of the field, too.
Harrison has been great on the counterattack for James Madison.
Gabe Harrison. Seeing some forward work here and some more quick ball. It's Katz, who they've planted in the back line.
And he's through, not held in tackle.
Wow.
Oh, ill-advised offload right into the hands of the retreating Salisbury defender. Salisbury's got to clear the line here.
Oh, James Madison's going to go quick.
He didn't go. I don't think it went 5 meters. Yep, and that's
free
what
kick
the
to
referee. Salisbury got lucky there. And James Madison, what an impressive style of play they have today.
Cool, trying to make another individual play of his own. Not fielded cleanly by Harrison. Batted into the try zone. Cool needs to keep the pressure up here. It's a big tackle for Michael Mullins to give Salisbury a chance. It's going to be Salisbury line out, 5-meter line out. Great pressure. Just as we talk about Cool, each time he makes a mistake, we start to forget that he's a 3-time Division II All-American, and he makes another great play.
And more than that, he's a senior who's been in this situation numerous times.
Right.
So the pressure's not going to get to him. We got another try from the hooker. That's 2 for him.
Salisbury on the third big opportunity to score, and they finally punch it in. Second try for Burnett.
And as much as I question Salisbury's strategy of continuing to kick, if that's what they're used to, that's how they like to play, they didn't deviate from it there. Cool kicked into James Madison's end, mishandled by the fullback Harrison, and that ultimately is what led to that try.
Well, we're complimenting Harrison. When he's been able to get the ball in hand, he's done some good work, but he has struggled a couple of times to actually scoop it up.
That's his second mishandle deep in his own end. Of course, the first one ended up resulting in a Madison try, so he got bailed out there. Cool just misses.
Still a one-score game, 15-13, or 15-12 rather.
Well, last time Salisbury scored a try, Madison rebounded immediately with a try of their own. Let's see if they can strike back again this time.
Cats, the first one up to make a hit. James Madison did just a fantastic job right around the fringe, repelling Salisbury's forwards. They've not made hardly any yardage with their forwards. Some good work here. Salisbury is, when they do get the ball out, they tend to have some passes behind the guy they're passing to. If they're able to put it on the front foot, it'd be a little bit more dangerous. Penalty.
Hands in the ruck by Madison.
Looks like a good opportunity for Cool to level the table here.
Keep the scoreboard ticking over. Smart call.
As much as this game has looked like it's James Madison's to lose, it's about to be tied up 15-15 if Cool could convert a very makeable kick.
And perhaps all this fast play has gotten to James Madison a little bit as you see some hands on hips, hands on knees.
Get on Salisbury's fans. Salisbury the Sharks, lots of blood in the water. Chants coming from the sideline.
Saw a lot of the Salisbury crowd donning shirts that said Salisbury Rugby, we hate you more. And Cool's tied it up. So now we'll see what Madison's made of.
It's a good high restart. Give Cats a good chance. He takes.
Great job on that restart by James Madison.
Cats went up and tapped it back to Michael Creighton. Now the Dukes got some possession. Salisbury's finally starting to make some tackles behind the gain line.
Well, and they've adjusted, as you suggested too, Pat. They're not committing the guys to the ruck. They're instead fanning out defensively and waiting for that quick recycle, and that's what's allowing them to make those tackles in better position than they were before. That's a great example right there.
Good tough carry from James Madison. Cats in the back line.
There's the other prop, wearing number 24. The only jersey big enough to fit him, I think. Oh, wow. Well, referee's got a knock on. I think James Madison's sideline is incensed, wanting a high tackle there. Again, the kick can't find touch, and here comes Harrison on their counterattack.
Harrison, that's a brave run right there.
Into about 3 hard-charging Salisbury defenders.
Cool is everywhere. Cool made that tackle, got up, made another hit,
and he
kicked the
may
ball
have
forward.
he may have just won that ruck. He has.
Did. He raked the ball back. First man in the ruck and was able to rake it back.
Coach Lamborn's head may explode on the sideline here. He is not happy with a couple of the decisions the referee made during that last passage of play.
Cool finds touch.
A little more conservative there. Opted to make sure he got it to touch as opposed to trying to get more territory. Smart move, I think. And with 2 minutes left in the half, if Salisbury can punch one in here, that would be a huge blow to Madison, who, as you said, Pat, really seemed to have the run of play for most of this half, yet it's 15-15.
Well, it was an overthrow, if nothing else. Madison's got the ball. Looks like the ref was holding advantage from a not straight throw in. And he's going to bring it back and give the ball to James Madison.
In the last 10 minutes here, you've really seen Salisbury pick up the level of intensity and the level of physicality.
Which is what they're known for, frankly. I mean, they're a mean, nasty team.
Don't tread on me.
James Madison struggled on a couple of those lineouts. And Salisbury's not contesting them. They got to put that ball in hand so they can get some clean play off of it. Plenty of time given to Chris Kunkel to kick that ball.
Salisbury's going to counterattack.
James Madison's
under
not
a minute.
flat, but they're able to make a tackle anyways.
There's Cool putting his man into space. That's going to be a high tackle on James Madison.
And if you're hearing some complaints, that's definitely coming from the JMU side of the stands.
And again, Cool doesn't find touch.
That's
4 times now.
One of the poorest kicks to touch I've seen. Big carry.
And he's still moving. Traditional quick recycle, and there's the man, Katz. Wow, what an offload by Katz. And what support.
A little bit better flip or
there he
hip
is
flexibility
again.
than you'd expect.
He's going to get penalized there, though. He was definitely held in tackle.
He's been doing that all day, and he's gotten away with it. That time he was a little bit too held.
I think that's the right call by the referee, despite James Madison sidelines.
That's the half, 15-15. You feel like Salisbury feels like they did something good to get out of there 15-15, and James Madison's a little air out of the balloon.
Yeah, and, I can't help but wonder how much the loss of their captain, St. Cross, has had an impact on James Madison, because I don't think it's any coincidence that when he went off was when the game changed and Salisbury suddenly got on the front foot.
Certainly. All right, well, we're going to take a break for halftime, and we'll be right back. we're back. Sorry you missed the opening kickoff there.
Halftime seemed to be a little bit abbreviated, but
Salisbury's got a line out here. The attacking 22.
that's an extremely odd line out by
It's a great
Salisbury.
catch,
I'm
though.
not really sure Salisbury coming out of the gates in the second half really strong. Although great rip in the tackle, but wow, I'm not sure what the call's going to be there. And I think the referee's going to have a talk with Katz.
Wonder if he didn't take over as acting captain.
Really? Okay. And Salisbury, off that penalty, 5 meters out, touches down. I didn't see who that was.
Nor did I. See if the PA announcer picked it up.
But I'd say the first 30 minutes of this contest were all James Madison, and yet they couldn't break away on the scoreboard. The last 12 minutes, the last 10 minutes of the first half and the opening 2 minutes of this half have been all Salisbury.
Can't argue with that. I mean, James Madison hasn't been able to put the multiple offloads together. Their phase ball, they've had some, but it's not quite as penetrating.
Well, I think a couple things changed. One, I think I can't ignore the fact that the momentum changed when St. Cross went off the field. So I think that's hurting Madison, and I think that the fact that Salisbury has adjusted defensively at the rucks and has not been contesting defensive rucks and instead fanning out and making the tackles behind the gain line has really taken Madison out of their game plan a little bit.
That goes just far enough, and Madison gets it. You know, they've been good in the set pieces, which is a mark of a well-coached team. They've been pretty good in the lineouts, good at the restarts. Good, solid, flat defensive line there from Salisbury yet again. Nick Cool making the tackle. Fly half, Chris Kunkel takes it into contact. There's Michael Creighton, the lock. He's been pretty active too for James Madison.
There's Katz, so far been the MVP for Madison, and he gets it to the wing.
Danny Loro. Another not releasing.
Madison's coaches and fans are absolutely incensed about the calls that are going against them here. Although I can't take exception with any of the calls. Cool again misses touch. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's part of Salisbury's game plan.
I don't know I don't know how that would factor in.
It certainly wouldn't make sense, but
The worst part for Madison on these penalties they keep picking up for playing on after they've been held in the tackle is where they've been. They've both been inside 5 meters and great attacking opportunities. That's another difference. First half it was Salisbury leaving points on the board, and it's been James Madison since.
I think Madison's going to bring on some fresh legs here early on in the second half.
Salisbury opts to run it.
That pass is forward.
He's got his arm out. Madison has advantage here. They're going to blow it up. Now the James Madison fans are upset with the length of advantage being played. If Madison could get this ball cleanly, look for Alex Fedorenko, their inside center. So maybe crash it up and try to get him some good ball, some good go forward off of this.
Salisbury driving him backwards in the scrum, though. Oh, now a penalty finally goes the way of James Madison. Let's see what they do. This certainly should be a kickable penalty.
You know, the way Kunkel's been going for these conversions, I think he's smart to take the line here.
Yeah, the wind is in his face as well.
About 20 meters out. Salisbury hasn't been contesting the lineouts. They're just going to stay on their feet most likely and try and prevent any kind of maul from getting any momentum.
That ball was not even close to straight.
So Madison is, after starting off strong lineout, has gotten a little sloppy.
And Salisbury's happy to pack down and exert their force in the scrum. Nice little backline move inside the 22 from Salisbury.
That's Ethan Reese.
Line break from the outside center, and man, is he tough to bring down. And now we're seeing Salisbury recycle the ball quickly at the ruck, taking a page out of the James Madison playbook.
Capobianco gets a break.
Oh, great running line from Cool.
Scooped up.
That's going to be touch. I think he got it down.
Dylan
He
Barnett.
did. Barnett scores in the corner.
Who's offloading now? It's Salisbury.
The running line taken there in support by Cool off Capobianco was very impressive. And credit to Barnett for making the pick off of the ground on that errant pass.
As you mentioned earlier, Salisbury very well known for being extremely fit and showing. I'd also give them the edge, it looks like, on size. I don't know how you think about that, Pat, but they may be wearing down James Madison and those scrums and at the breakdown a little bit too.
Yeah, and you know, as a forward, Pat, there's not much that's more demoralizing than at every scrum being pushed backwards. And I think that the James Madison forwards have experienced that at every pack down, and that's got to be weighing on their minds. And you know, Salisbury toes the line in terms of tackling. They had a couple that were questionably late, and I think they're in James Madison's heads now. Conversion no good.
So it's a 10-point game, 25-15 to Salisbury with just about a half hour to play.
I think we've seen only 1 of 7 tries converted here in this match. And that was Salisbury's first, which was right under the posts.
See if Madison can take another restart. They
Cats
do.
again.
That's been a great
That's
great combination.
Three straight restarts that they've won of their own.
Usually it's been Cats tapping back to Michael Creighton. Federico, the inside center. Cat's not a big fan of the placing the ball.
No, if he thinks he can get away with getting to his feet, and Cool takes it quick, and he put that directly out. Yet another mistake off the foot of Nick Cool.
Capobianco saying the ball was touched, but he's not going to win that argument.
And I don't know about you, Pat, but I think that those last 3 calls by the referee for not releasing on James Madison were the correct call.
Yeah, that one there was halfway borderline, but yeah, I think you're right. To be honest with you, I think Cat's got away with, on one of the tries, he may have gotten away with not releasing the ball when he needed to.
There's another mistake in the lineout for James Madison, so
the pressure getting to him.
They're coming apart at the seams here. And the result of this is now Salisbury's going to get the momentum with what should be another powerful scrum where they push the Madison forwards back.
And get out and run. Capobianco to his brother. To Nick Rodriguez. Cool with the pick and go. Nice spin move.
I think he lost it. He lost it forward as he tried to offload to his trailing center. And I don't know if it's the shaved heads or what, but all of these Salisbury players look exactly like the same person, especially in the backs.
It's the shaved heads and the no-shave November look.
They got the playoff beards going. James Madison scrum right in front of the Salisbury sideline, and there's a lot of noise.
Salisbury might do well to hit up Bic or the Dollar Shave Club for a sponsorship.
This is the second time the referees had to reset this scrum. Not quite sure what's going on here in the front rows.
Well, the scrum's directly in front of the Salisbury sideline, which is getting pretty loud right now, and their heckling of James Madison. Looks like that ball came straight out.
It looks like Salisbury immediately on the put-in, their front row is lifting the Madison front row, and if I was Madison coaching staff, I'd be asking the referee to watch that, because every scrum it seems that they're coming straight up. Let's see what happens here at this one. Tell me if you see the same thing I'm seeing, Pat. It may just be that they're driving them so hard they're driving them up. Nothing illegal about just being stronger. And now Salisbury gets pinged, and James Madison's got to be happy to see that after having 3 straight go against them.
It's interesting seeing that penalty called so many times in a championship game.
Well, I think it's a result of both of these teams playing a wide open style, and a lot of times at the tackle there is not the support there. And another kick, not to touch.
This time
off the
James
penalty.
Madison, the offenders.
Oh,
wow.
Great move.
Fake dummy. He faked the switch and just took it. That's Nick Capobianco.
Offloading to the outside center and support.
And the hooker, the 2-time try scorer down there. First one
And
to the ruck.
Salisbury's going to just pound this in, I think. They're going to be patient. They're going to take their chances with their forwards.
Why not? It's worked the last couple of times.
And here comes the hooker. Can he get a third? I think he may have gotten it. Oh,
Held up
referee
this
says
time.
held up. But that's not a bad result for Salisbury, as they're going to get a scrum to James Madison 5 meters out, and they'll get their own scrum 5 meters out, and they may be able to just drive this in. And if there's one thing more demoralizing than being driven in the scrum, it's being driven in the scrum into the try zone. So if Salisbury's able to do that, that may be the icing on the cake for this game. Even though we have 25 minutes left, Salisbury has had all of the play in this half.
For Demetrio just to pick and go here if he gets a chance. He does. Salisbury doesn't have a scrum half out.
Their mauls formed.
Over.
I think they got it. They're down.
This time looks like Scotty Wheeler, the big hitter, got it down.
So, Pat, we thought we were going to have a heck of a game here after the first 20 minutes, and now if Salisbury keeps up this momentum, they could have a runaway.
Well, it's about to be a 3-try difference. And James Madison has not been, outside of a couple of those times when they got called for not releasing, they haven't really been threatening. So it would take some pretty impressive possessions for James Madison to get back in this.
See if Cool can finally convert one of these tries. Well struck, and he gets this one.
32-15 with about 23 minutes left to play. Salisbury in the lead. That's a mark of a championship team. They can just take the emotional wave that happens early, get through it, and continue to play good rugby. And that's what they've done. If you got any points for restarts, though, James Madison would be in good shape.
Coach Lamborn is really not happy with this referee.
All things considered, I think it's been a pretty fairly refereed game.
I don't disagree. I think Coach Lamborn certainly would, though. And now after a period where Salisbury was looking to keep ball in hand more, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cool go back to his boot and force James Madison to play out of their own end. With a 17-point lead, 21 minutes remaining, and James Madison having shown no real chance of making any progress. And then right there, they knocked the ball on, trying to set them all.
The key to that will be getting the ball to touch when you're trying to, because as we've seen, he's had trouble with that. Whose name we haven't called is Harrison, the fullback. He's not been given an opportunity to really counterattack in quite a while.
It actually looks like they may have moved him to the outside center position.
See a little pop in the back line. Yeah, I think you're right. So Wheeler, who's been the emotional leader, the guy that's been delivering the big momentum-changing hits, and the guy who scored the last try is off for Joel Henry, who comes in a blind side.
And shockingly, he has a shaved head and a beard, which will make him stand out not at all.
Rodriguez. Salisbury's done a good job of inserting that wing on these, the blindside wing on these set pieces.
Looks like they lost it forward. Madison's going to choose to clear their line, play the advantage. And I think we saw, Pat, in the first 20 minutes of this game, those line breaks by Salisbury weren't happening because James Madison was making the tackles. And now we're seeing Salisbury's backs slicing through the James Madison defenders. And I got to think that that's just partially an issue of fatigue on the part of the Dukes.
Well, I mean, Salisbury, their players here that are on the sideline are wearing T-shirts that have a target on the back because, well, they have the target on their back metaphorically. And I think James Madison came out hunting early, and like you often see when there's a clear underdog and favorite scenario, James Madison came out wanting it more early on, and they were playing with a lot more fire and a lot more passion, and that's kind of gone away. They were owning the fringes. They were making a lot of tackles behind the gain line, and it's hard to keep that up for 80 minutes. And now Timothy Katz is a little weary of getting called for another penalty. He doesn't go for the ball in that last breakdown.
Now Salisbury's forwards recycling very quickly. Be interesting to see. I think the referee's got some foul play here.
I mean, that's the exact thing that James Madison was not letting happen early on in this game. The pick and goes were going nowhere for the Sharks. So we got a card coming. Potentially. Alex Chavez getting the talking to, along with Nick Cool, the Salisbury captain.
Not sure what the call's going to be there.
Something from the AR.
Must have seen some foul play in the ruck as Salisbury was quickly recycling with their forwards. So if Madison's going to make anything happen, they got to do it here. They got to win this line out. They have to set a good platform. They got to set their backs free and see if they can penetrate this Salisbury defense, which over the last 30 minutes has seemed pretty much impenetrable.
Well, if you look at the line out, just look at where Salisbury's number 5, Dylan Burke, is lined up. I think he's lined up as a bit of a miss. So you got a flanker and a block. James Madison center is going to try and shoot up there. Whether they got the ball or not, most likely. So if Harrison can get the ball with some steps to work with, he might be able to make something happen. But they go to Federico, the inside center.
And he's brought down hard by Salisbury.
He's been a hammer for them all season. I know, having talked to Lamborn last night, he was a guy he said to look out for, because he usually is able to break the gain line and get him going in the right direction, but that's not been the case today. Salisbury's got some heavy hitters that have kept him in check.
Well, with a 17-point lead and 17 minutes remaining, Pat, do you think that Coach Davis is going to start trying to think towards tomorrow's championship game and bring on some fresh legs and try to rest some of his guys?
It looks like he's been filtering them in, but yeah, I think you're right. I think that's what's going to happen. I fully expect.
Oh, great step by Kunkel.
There
and
you
he
go.
puts his man through.
Kunkel.
Is he going to get it to Zach
To
Katz? Katz again, and he's going to center this one. So just as I suggested, the game might be out of reach. Madison with a fantastic play. Their fly half, Kunkel. That was, I mean, the two guys we've been calling all day for Madison. Kunkel and then Katz.
Katz might be the best player in the field. He's been fantastic.
He really has been unbelievable. For a prop to be running in support and running with ball in hand the way he is really, really impressive. You just wonder if he doesn't look that big, so he certainly wouldn't project as a prop at a higher level.
This is a big kick. I mean, it's dead on. It should be made here by Harrison, but if it's missed, it's a 2-try scenario. If it's made, you can get away with a try and a penalty to tie it up.
He's got it.
So 32-22 is what we got. 16 minutes left to play. Madison a little bit of momentum.
The players look re-energized. Their fans are certainly re-energized. So if Coach Davis had any thoughts about running some fresh legs on to rest people for tomorrow, he may be rethinking that now.
I know he likes his depth, so he may not be afraid to do so anyways. Might have let that one go straight through.
Yeah, I would have let that go through too.
Maybe an ill-advised kick there from the James Madison wing. Salisbury's got the ball inside the 22. There's Mullins with the dummy. Good carry. A good job to keep his feet until he had some support. Burnett, the 2-try scorer.
Salisbury's going to slow it down with their forwards now. And if I'm Madison, I want to be counter-rucking here because they can't let them just camp out inside their 22.
This is a little bit more of the James Madison fringe defense we saw early on.
Yeah, and I think that, wow, I thought Madison might have either poached that or caused a penalty.
Little miscommunication between Capobianco and Cool there. Lambourne calling for his players to go up and meet the guys on the opposite side of the gain line.
Salisbury literally has 10 men at this breakdown. Salisbury content to just keep pounding. This looks like this is gonna be held up in goal. I guess he's not over the line yet.
Ball squirted out.
And the referee's got a penalty for, must be for
Capobianco quick taps
offsides.
it.
No
Goes
way.
at the line.
No way the defender was
He
back
doesn't get
10
it,
yet.
Well, he may not have been back 10, but
All right, so
he may have been behind the try line.
AR's gonna. He is gonna get him for not back 10, and James Madison's gonna be lucky to get away without a penalty try or a card. And actually, they may not get away without a card.
It's like Salisbury may be lining up to run the ball instead of take the scrum, but as strong as their scrum's been all day, I don't know why they wouldn't take it here.
Well, because you can only put 8 guys in a scrum, and they can put 12 guys in this situation. Madison playing some desperate goal line defense.
It's not going to be enough. Can you touch it down?
I think he did.
Rodriguez.
He did. Rodriguez gets it.
That's the backbreaker.
I think that is. It's going to be. That now makes it a 3-score game with under 13 minutes remaining. And you can see from the body language of the Madison players, cats lying on the ground, that they may believe that their chance is past.
Just some untimely penalties. Penalties either on the attacking, inside the attacking 5 meters or in the defensive 5 meters have really hurt James Madison today.
Cool's going to take his time on this kick.
Drills it.
Wow, great sideline conversion from Cool.
As the game's gone on, he's gotten better. So 39-22 with 11 to play. James Madison gets it wide.
And there's the offloading that we saw from Madison early on.
This is a situation where you might want to find Michael Katz, and they do.
Yep, there he
He
is.
doesn't have a lot of room to work with, but he creates some
Basketball
space.
pass. So credit to the Dukes. They're not giving up.
Big carry by Michael Creighton to kind of help put this ball forward. And now they get a penalty in the attacking 5 meter. I don't blame them for quick tapping this one, considering
Referee's
how
gonna-
their scrum has been.
Referee's bringing them back to the mark,
I fully expect them to play off their feet again, though.
and I fully expect it to go to Cats at some point in this movement.
Michael Creighton, he's had some nice carries.
There's
And
Cats.
there he is.
He's through.
Is that 4?
Try for Cats. That is. I think that's 4 tries
The
for him.
4-bagger for Michael Katz,
4 of their 5 tries.
who just won't let James Madison die. So it's going to be 39-27. Could be 39-29 if this kick is true, which it should be.
I'm guessing that Michael Katz has caught the eye of some Rugby Mag All-American selectors today.
I think you're right. He's kind of an Eric Fry-ish. He's certainly not anywhere near the stature of Eric Fry, but Fry played second row and back row a lot in college and now is a prop, whereas Katz is playing prop, but I think for some other teams you might find him elsewhere in the pack.
Yeah, I think projecting to the next level, he'd have to be at 6 or 8 would be where I would see him.
Sean Pittman was a high school All-American as a number 8, and now he's a regular selection as a prop for the Eagles.
Yeah, and it's also interesting with the new scrum rules, how that's going to affect the way we see props of the future, whether they really, you look at smaller guys who are more mobile because there's not as much need for the power in the front row. I don't know.
Well, wherever he's from, whenever he goes home to there, or wherever he goes when he graduates, I'm sure that he's going to have some club guys begging him to continue playing.
Wow, that Salisbury backline defense was up pretty quick. I'm surprised that was onside. In fact, it looks like the opposite side AR is trying to signal that there was some offsides there, but the referee doesn't pick it up. Madison's on the attack. James Madison keeping ball in hand. Oh, very untimely mishandle by James Madison. And Salisbury's going to go back to their forward pick and go. 8 minutes left on the clock. Here comes Rodriguez.
Looks like he's not going to have the space to finish it himself.
And Katz just brings the man into touch.
He doesn't quit.
No, and he is not letting his team die.
Got a Salisbury player down. Referees awarded a minute.
Looks like it's just a calf cramp.
You were talking about projecting to the next level. This is a Division II national championship, but it's not often that Division II players make it onto the high-performance teams, but it's not completely rare. Graham Harriman's here watching his alma mater, University of Minnesota Duluth, compete in this Final Four, and Graham is fresh off a November tour, very good tour for him.
And obviously one of the most prolific Eagles of all time, Paul Emmerich, came from a Division II school, University of Northern Iowa.
That's right. Brian Doyle, the guy who missed the tour because of his injury, played at the University of Rhode Island, another Division II program. Maybe a little harder to get identified, but there are definitely some good players at this level.
Six minutes on the clock, and Salisbury's going to have a put-in. Running in some fresh legs in the front row. The try-scoring hooker is going to move to prop as a new hooker comes in for Salisbury.
Joseph Montgomery, pretty well put together looking kid.
Yeah, nice to be able to bring an athlete like that in off the bench.
A little bit of a John Rocker entrance. He was pretty excited to get the call up, it looked like, sprinting out there.
Madison's going to have to find some way to turn over here. And they did.
And they held it up long enough.
Caused a knock-on in the maul. So, 5 minutes left, but stranger things have happened. It's only a 2-score game. Dukes are deep in their own end, though.
Kunkel looks like he's lining up into a kicking position.
Well, if he can put it to touch, Salisbury lineout has not been that impressive, so that might be the best strategic move here.
Straight out the tunnel, we're going to have another put. Big set piece.
The scrum goes down on the left side.
Ref lets it play. Madison's able to retain the ball off this first phase, it looks like. Or not. Yep, they're going to have a penalty.
Let's see if they take it quick. I think they should.
Well,
they are. They're
it.
going to. And
Bit of a
their
slow,
first
quick take.
receiver is Katz, and he beats one man, beats two. Offload. That has been Katz all day. And Salisbury's able to bring the ball out of bounds, and they're going to retain.
A lot of energy expended, I think, there to only move the ball about 20 meters down the field and not have the line out.
And with 3 minutes left, if Salisbury wins this line out, I think we might be able to call this one.
James Madison into Katz's hand. And he's off to the races.
Oh, he's injured.
He pulls up injured.
I think he pulled a hammy on that.
Maybe even Achilles. The way he's screaming does not
Wow,
look
that
like
is a really, let's hope he's okay. Madison's still on the attack.
Federico.
The referee calling for the trainer to come out and Madison's attacking, but you can't help but see the injured Cats on the far side of the field.
Let's see if somebody else can step up to make a break for Madison.
Well, the problem is they're coming back towards the area where Cats is being attended to, which may stop their play.
James Madison still knocking on the door.
They got to score quick here, though. Clock's at 2 minutes. They can't be too deliberate here. Oh, and huge
Big
counter ruck. And the
And Salisbury has advantage.
referee's got a knock on by Madison. Salisbury's got advantage, and they've got an overload here.
Just
If
run and hold on to the ball.
Rodriguez gets the ball, he could be gone.
There's the younger Capo Bianco. Harrison not rolling away at all. I'm not sure how there isn't a penalty on James Madison in that breakdown, but looks like it's not going to matter. We're under 90 seconds.
Well, now Madison got it. And Madison playing Kunkel with that goose step. Looks like he got hit late. It's been a hallmark of Salisbury's defense is to make sure that he knows it every time he carries the ball.
Creighton
and there's
with the break.
Creighton through.
If he can
This
get
is
in, there
huge.
should be enough
He's
time.
got to offload that. He had the player in support. I think he's going to be penalized for not releasing, though.
Big
See
call
what the
here.
referee says.
He's not quick to make it.
He's saying a knock. Is he saying a knock on? He gave the impression that it was hands in the ruck on Salisbury, but he doesn't have his arm
I don't
up
think
for
he
a
wants
penalty.
to award a penalty either way at this point.
And a sub is finally on the field for Katz, who's being helped off on the far sideline.
We have had a little bit of injury time in this second half. We're about 25 seconds from the time on the clock elapsing. Not sure what the referee has on his watch. but JMU definitely has to punch it in a very timely fashion to have a chance at another restart.
So the referee gave the signal that it was hands in, but then had his arm out as if it was going to be a scrum to James Madison, and I think it is going to be a scrum. Maybe he's going to say there was a knock on when the Salisbury player attempted to win that ball at the breakdown at the tackle point. So huge scrum for Salisbury, or for James Madison here. You got to figure they've got to score this right away if they have any chance.
Absolutely.
They're about 1 meter out.
Kunkel's going to take it himself. Gets it down. This will be the test. How much time's up?
Kunkel's in. He's got to be asking the referee how much time he has.
This is a crucial kick.
I'd almost forego the conversion here, depending on what the referee says. But it looks like they're going to have time for a restart.
Well, he makes it. They may have a chance to take a penalty too.
That's a good point.
So I think that this is a very crucial.
I think the referee has signaled that there is going to be at least time for a restart. Unfortunately, they've lost their man Katz, who was so good at regaining the ball in the air. And Harrison hits it. So we're into injury time here. This is going to be an enormous restart for James Madison. If they can win this, we got a game. If Salisbury takes this clean, you expect that they're just going to try to run out the clock. 39-36. What a game.
It really has been. No fight, or no quit, rather, from James Madison.
Yeah, with 17 minutes left, I was talking about whether or not Salisbury should be looking forward till tomorrow, and Madison has made it a game.
They don't want to get into a breakdown here. They want to offload. Well, that guy wants to get into a breakdown. I think they want to keep the ball up and alive here.
Yeah, you gotta keep ball in hand here if you're James Madison.
Kunkel.
Oh, huge tackle by Cool. Oh, but he slips out of it. I think Salisbury stripped that.
They did.
They did. I don't know how much time referee's playing knock-on advantage to Salisbury. It may be that Salisbury can just run this clock out. And it looks like the referee has said full time. Cool kicks it out, and that is full time. And Salisbury escapes with the victory.
They feel it though. They're worse for the wear. They got through it. That next semifinal looks like it should be a pretty tough one too. So whoever gets through is going to be facing another tired team. Fantastic. I think James Madison acquitted themselves very well.
Yeah, for all those doubters who said that they didn't deserve to be here, that they had too easy of a road, they certainly showed that they belonged. And, it was a missed kick here or there that could have been the difference. And I would have to say, in a losing effort, player of this game's got to go to Michael Katz, who unfortunately missed the last 5 minutes with an injury.
He did. For Salisbury, the man that really stuck out, even though he did make some market errors, was Nick Cool, because he really, when they needed it, when Salisbury was on the brink of being broken early in that first half, he made some great individual efforts that set up tries that Salisbury wouldn't have scored otherwise.
Yeah, I think that's right. And like you said, that's why he's a 3-time All-American.
All right, we're going to take some time off here and come back with Penn State Kutztown.